Skip Brunch, it's Cara, and today we're making some mini sunglass holders. Big shout out to Crazy Glue for sponsoring this episode. So you might have seen my previous sunglass display project, which was huge. It holds like 20 pairs, which is perfect for me because I'm a sunglass hoarder. I have over 20 pairs. I mean, of all the things to hoard, like $5 to $14 sunglasses seems like where it's at. But for the rest of you that want something smaller that can hold 3 or 4 pairs, this project is perfect. There's also 2 versions, so you can pick your favorite. Okay, so for this project, I'm gonna be using Crazy Glue. It is their fast dry wood glue, and it's awesome, especially for smaller projects like this. You can whip it together in like 30 minutes. You don't have to wait overnight for it to dry, and you don't even have to use clamps. You see me using clamps in this video, which is honestly because it's out of habit. Like every wood project, I'm always used to clamping it, but the stuff stuck like instantly. I did not need clamps, so it really didn't even need to be there. This stuff does the job. It's my new favorite. So for this project, you can use just any 8x10 frame. You want to take out the paper, the glass, and the matting, and then just put the back on. I'm using the fast dry wood glue from Crazy Glue. It cures in 6 minutes. It's amazing because your project can be ready to use right after you make it. You're not having to wait for it to dry overnight. So I'm gluing down 3 square dowels that are 1 3/4 inches long. These are made out of balsa wood, so you can actually just measure and cut them with a box knife. I used my little saw, but you definitely don't need a power tool. You just want to apply 4 to 5 dots of the glue on the end of each dowel and then stick it down and apply some pressure while the glue sets. You want to let it sit for about 6 minutes to fully dry, and then it's time to add a fun pattern. So I'm just using a piece of scrapbook paper that I got from the craft store. I cut it down to 8x10, and now I'm just measuring to see where the cutouts for my dowels need to go. So I'm just using a box knife and then cutting a little X so that I can create a box and then slide the paper down over the dowels. And I just took some acrylic craft paint and painted each of the dowels white. You can also leave them the wood color, but I kind of wanted to go for a black and white with a pop of greenery kind of vibe. I let the paint dry a little bit and then put a few more dots of glue along the back to secure the paper. Definitely overkill because this glue can secure wood, but it worked pretty great for the paper as well. Once my paper was stuck down, I just took my box knife and cut off each of the little triangles from the little X that I'd made, just making sure the paper fits flush against each of the dowels. Once that's done, you literally just pop the back into the frame and secure it. Then you can add your sunnies and hang the frame on the wall using the built-in picture frame hardware. It could not be easier. Version 2 is a little more involved because we're actually building the frame itself, and you can customize it to the exact shape and size you want. Okay, to start off building this frame, you're gonna use a 1x2 strip of furring lumber, and you're gonna cut it either with a saw or by hand using a miter box. I'll link it down below. You need 2 shorter sides for the top and bottom, and then 2 longer sides for the left and right. This one's made to fit 3 pairs of sunglasses. To assemble this frame, you're just gonna glue each of the 45-degree miter pieces together at the corners, and then I added a clamp so it could dry for those 6 minutes, and it stayed super secure. After the frame is dry, you can take those clamps off and start on the back. So for this, I used shims that were cut down to fit my frame. Again, you can use a saw or your miter box. Shims are like 50 cents at Home Depot. You just want to cut those down to fit. It took 5 to get across my frame vertically, but you could also go horizontal. I started in the middle, adding glue to the top and bottom of the frame. Now it's time to add the dowels again, the exact same way we did in version 1, with using dots of glue and then just pressing them down to secure and letting them dry for another 6 minutes. So this step is totally optional, but I wanted to paint the dowels in the frame white to give it a little dimension. You can also stain the whole thing, paint the whole thing one color, or just leave it plain. So I just stuck on some painter's tape because I'm a messy painter, and then added the white paint and let that dry. So if this is gonna lean on top of a shelf or a piece of furniture, you actually can be done right here, but I added a rope so it can hang up on the wall. I just took macrame cord, tied a knot at each end, and then stapled it to the back of my sunglass holder. My staple gun's battery powered, but a manual staple gun will work perfect too. So another totally optional step, I used a piece of wire to thread my macrame cord through a wooden bead, just to give it another little accent and a little piece of interest. You could do this before you staple it on, or you could leave the wooden bead off altogether. Then just add those sunnies and you have a sunglass holder that doubles as decor. If you guys like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up down below and then subscribe so you can stay up to date with all my fun and fresh ideas. I have amazing little projects just like this coming at you all the time.